We back. Another episode. Another episode, man. We got in the next hour and a half, man. We got three exciting guests. Some of my favorite players slash coaches. I may have a special guest for y'all today. I don't want to say too much, but I may have a special guest for y'all today. Landon, I got to get you and some of the young guys from Fox Creek on. J Money. Justin, man, you like one of the top topics on the podcast, man. A lot of people don't know that. You're my nephew. Oh, there he is, Big Randy. What's up, my guy? Need you. First I got, man. Today I got first I got my guy Levi Ball. Great collegiate, one of the top kids in the state. In 2026. You let him know it's about to get on. Yeah, Randy, I need you ASAP, man. Been a long time coming. Y'all boys see I got that Creek versus everybody on. Just waiting for my guy to hop on. Got my boy Greg Pageant on here. Like I said, man, I got my guy Levi Ball, man. Great. Yo,
What's up, Coach?
my guy, what's going on with you?
Not much. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you good. I can hear you
Sweet.
good. And then I see you've been making your content, man.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of a lot of stuff that you do, man. That's something new. I love that. You making
Appreciate you.
really good content. Look like your following is going up pretty fast too.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, like I said, man, I got Levi Ball on here, man. Like I said, man, you know, every time I see you, I scream at you from across the room,
Yeah.
Levi.
What's
Yeah,
up?
so I show a lot of love, man. Introduce yourself to your fans and to the people watching.
Man, I'm Levi Ball. I committed to Kennesaw State. About to go there in 2 months. So,
That's what's up. So, man, we can get started from the beginning, man. Levi Ball from Great Collegiate Academy. You're going from Great Collegiate to D1. Um, like, what was that moment when you was like, yeah, really one of them? Was it before you transferred to Gray, or was it a time um, when like once you got to Gray?
yeah, I mean, my sophomore going into junior year, I moved from Texas to South Carolina. And, like, me and my parents had a conversation. Like we were going to Gray. They had a good track record. And so I had a couple of choices. Like, I could choose, like, to go in and, like, dominate and act like I'm the dude, or I can go somewhere else and right. So that was the kind of the conversation, and from that point on, like my goal was the highest level, right? Like then like that was when I really knew like I could do it for that.
For sure, man. Your dad, as everybody on here know, also he's a Middleton Elite alum. Also, me and your dad had a whole bunch of conversations about your growth last summer. So take us back to the start. When did basketball become serious for you? Around what age?
Yeah, I mean, I started playing basketball in sixth grade. Like my dad bought me a
Mhm.
hoop, and we played on the driveway after school, like 1-on-1. But I didn't really get serious about basketball until my eighth grade, going into ninth grade year. Um, when we were moving, actually, again, we moved from Virginia to Texas,
Mhm.
and I was going to school, and my goal was to be a freshman on varsity. And
Gotcha.
so that was when I really had to lock in and take basketball seriously.
Did you accomplish that? Or are you a freshman on
I did.
varsity?
No, I
Got
did.
you,
I did
got you,
accomplish that. Yeah, I was.
got you. Well, so like moving to South Carolina, because that's when people on this side of the country kind of got your name from the beginning. What was it like building your name at Gray?
I mean, it was a process. Like I came in, it was it was kind of hard because nobody knew me and I had no
Mhm.
friends, which is always unfortunate. But it was also really nice because I played basketball, which is a great way to connect with people. And so I came in, I did like the summer workouts and all that stuff. So I had a couple guys on the team that I was friends with at that time. So that
Mhm.
that was that was kind of just how I built it. It's through the connections, and then I met some football players through the basketball players, and it just kind of grew from there.
Yeah, you kind of came into Gray in the midst of a coaching change, and then
Mhm.
right back to another coaching
Yeah.
change. How was that? Because that you've had two great coaches, Coach Powell and
Mhm.
Coach Dion, been a really good coaches. So how has that
Yeah.
been?
Yeah, so it was actually pretty funny because the spring break before we moved, like I came to Gray, we like visited a couple schools in South Carolina, and
Mhm.
Coach Dion was at Gray at that point,
Mhm.
and I really liked him like as a person and all that stuff, right? And then I came and it was a different coach. It was Coach Powell,
Yeah.
and Coach Powell, he was amazing. Like Coach Powell was one of the greatest things that happened to my development as a player. Like
Hmm.
he really like taught me what it was like to be a dog on the court and like how to like
Yeah.
really like be mentally tough and things like that. And then next year, I got the coach that I came to South Carolina for my senior year, and it was like just as good. Like Coach Dion got so much going for him. He has all the connections. He got me all my offers. So like, yeah, it could
That's
not
what's
have played
up.
out better.
That's what's up. So you hit 1,000 points and All State. Region Player of the Year this year, also, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
What game or moment you do you think made people start looking at you different? It could either be your junior year or your senior year. Which game do you think made the people in the state say, "Oh, he's here"?
Yeah, I would say the first game was junior year, school year. We played Brooklyn KC, who are kind of like our local rivals. They're 15
Mhm.
minutes down the road, and we played them at their place. You know, both student sections. They were massive student sections, and I had 18 points in the first quarter. Um,
Mm.
I hit 4 out of 5 threes. I had 3 dunks, and so it was bumping in there. Like that was the first time like I think people like really saw like my potential and stuff.
Mhm. So they say you got a motor, you rebound, you score. What do you think makes your game the most dangerous? Which attribute do you think makes your game the most dangerous?
Yeah, I think the attribute that makes my game the most dangerous is like I'm I'm relentless. Like I'm not gonna stop. Right. So
Dog.
like yeah, I mean I constantly crash the offensive boards the whole game, the defensive boards, right,
Mhm.
and like in the first quarter it's easy to box me out, and but by the fourth quarter like when I'm constantly crashing like it,
For
it
sure.
wears people down, right? So I think that's my
For
best
sure.
attribute is just like my ability to keep playing the whole game. And
Sure. So like crossing over to your junior year AAU season, what made you choose Middleton? I mean, South Carolina has multiple AAU
mm,
programs. What made you choose Coach Trey and Middleton?
yeah, so after my junior like school year I had a lot of AAU coaches reaching out to me. I went to a lot of tryouts. And the thing, I had a friend, Brayson Stockman, who I
Hmm.
played with a couple of times. Like he's close to me, so we shot together a little bit. And he told me to come try out for Middleton, which is the only coach that hadn't reached out to me.
Hmm.
Like so I went to Middleton and I really like Coach Trey. Like Coach Trey, like the way that he coached the game and saw the game, like being a former pro and stuff like that. Like he really like resonated with me, like being a 6'6" wing shooter, right? Like
Hmm.
that was the type of coach I wanted to play under.
How was that season? I mean, I know y'all have some ups and downs, but what, like, if you had to say, because people say EYCL is EYCL,
Mm.
but speaking on that, can you speak on the competition level for EYCL?
Yeah, I mean, EYCL is not easy, right? Like
Yeah.
I came in thinking the same thing. I was like, oh, this is EYCL. Like I wanted to play for EYBL team a little bit, right? But then I came in, and the first couple games was like a shock. Like I'm like these guys, I did not expect them to be that good.
Yeah.
Because it's the guys that like they just play. Like I would say like watching EYBL versus EYCL, like EYCL guys look like they play harder sometimes
Mhm.
because
It's
they
like
almost
it's because it's like a rat race. Everybody
mhm,
trying to make it to the pink
yeah.
jam.
Because the
So everybody
one
coming
team
out
one
for
team makes
sure.
it right.
For
So
sure.
every
So
team
every
is playing every game like it's the last game, right?
Mhm.
And you have to be perfect every game, which is crazy.
For sure, for sure. So you had multiple D1 offers. What's something about the recruiting process people really don't understand? Or let me ask you this first. What was your first D1 offer you got?
My first D1 offer was Marshall University, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, in
Yeah,
West
and you got
Virginia.
that last summer, correct?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. And so what is it about the recruiting process that people really don't understand? Like what comes into choosing a school and going on multiple visits and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it can be overwhelming and sometimes stressful. Like I I was talking to coaches and the hardest one was the first offer. Like
Hmm.
it's really hard to get the first offer. And yeah, I was like I was talking to coaches, I was going on visits, but nobody was like giving me an offer.
Hmm.
Um, but they were watching me closely, and as soon as I had a good game, then I had four offers from one good game.
What game was that? Do you
Uh,
feel?
it was during June when we went back to our school team.
Mhm.
I played and we played
Was it that Georgia Live period?
yes sir, it was. We
Yeah.
played Nasir Anderson and then and we like there was 60 plus coaches watching that game and
Sheesh.
I had 24 and Hunter McGraw had 28, so we combined for like over 50. So that was the game that really like jumped it. And then after that, like I had a lot of coaches at all my games, and that just really took it off, right? So I think the most misunderstood thing is it's you don't have to always perform well. It only takes one game in front of the right coach, and all of a sudden,
Mhm.
like the entire process will change.
Sure. So you had options like Marshall, Navy, Georgia Southern. What made Kennesaw feel like home over everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, the coaches for sure. Like I always tell people, like at a certain point, like schools can't have much more, right? Like
Hmm.
every school is going to give you 24-hour access. They're going to give you all this stuff. Like they're going to give you all these perks and a nice dorm, and right. But the thing that really separates schools is the coaching staff, right? And so when I went to Kennesaw, one on my visit, like I could tell, like the way that they ran practice, their intensity, and just like who they are as people was like something I want to be around. Like their coaching staff, like just seems better than most people that I was talking to. So
For sure. And like just when you watch Kennesaw and you watch your game, it's like you fit perfect. You're a perfect puzzle piece on with what they do. What position do you think that you'll transition to at the next level?
yeah, so I'll transition into a shooting guard slash small forward,
Mhm.
depending on the lineup, because they like to play really big. Like one of
Mhm.
their main things is rebounding and shooting. Right?
Mhm.
They want to shoot a lot of threes and they want to rebound really well and just wear teams down on the offensive glass, which is two of my strongest attributes. Um,
Mhm.
and so depending on the lineup, I'll be the wing guy that is there ready to shoot, or I can be playing off the ball screens.
Sure. Where were you at when you made that decision? And what went through your head when it became official?
Yeah, so I mean, as soon as I like they end like on the official visit to Kennesaw, it was a 2 day visit. On the end of the Saturday that I was there, I knew that was the place, right?
Yeah.
Like that night, like I just like I knew it was like the place that I wanted to commit to, right? And then so a couple weeks later, like I committed, and like when I told the coach like that day, that was when it like really felt real. Like my dream, like my entire high school, was to play D1, and that was the point where it really like really felt real, you know?
Yeah. So did at any time did you ever imagine that you'll be living in Atlanta playing basketball at the highest level? I know that got to be
Yeah.
fun just to think about.
Yeah, no, I never had like a dream area or school because I'm
Mhm,
not really from. I move every like 2 years. My parents do because of the military. So
mhm.
I've always just been like I was focusing on the school, right? So when it came to Atlanta, like it's a great place. It's a great city. It has so many opportunities and stuff like that. So it's a great.
Sure. Like so, how did your parents feel? I know your dad being the vet that he is. I'm sure he probably wanted you to go to Navy or something like that. But
Yeah,
what like between your parents, what was their top choices
yeah.
as
I
far
mean,
as
my dad he wanted me to go to West Point because he's an Army guy,
okay
and so like Navy
okay
versus West Point. But it was kind of early in the process. My dad was like to decide like, do you want to be a military guy or do you want to be non-military? And then
Mhm,
once I decided that, then Navy and West Point and Air Force, they all went off the table. And
sure.
then like my dad really likes Coach Petway in Kennesaw. Like
Mhm.
he watched all the games more than I watched the games, and he's sitting in the living room like yelling at the TV and stuff. So he's a huge fan of Kennesaw. And my mom's the same way. My mom told me that as soon as we went on the visit at Kennesaw, that she also wanted to like me to commit there because she really liked that culture and
Yeah,
stuff.
for sure. I know me and Coach Wade, I know that's your guy.
Mm,
Coach Wade, then he's been waiting for the schedule to drop. He just keep
yeah,
telling me, "Hey man, we gotta be there. We
for
gotta
sure.
be there.
Yeah,
I gotta be there to watch Levi."
yeah,
Um, I know you didn't actually play for Coach Wade, but how was y'all relationship? You and Coach Wade?
yeah. I mean, he was at all our games, right? Because he was a 16-year coach. Like I was there. We watched. We as the older guys would always go and be super loud at their younger guys'
For sure.
games. You know, just like the refs would constantly tell us to get off the court and stuff like that. But nah, Coach Wade's my guy. We scrimmaged them a couple of times in the summer and stuff, and every time was a blast because
Sure.
he'd always be talking trash from the sideline and trying to get me like trying to get in my head and stuff. So I love
Yeah.
Coach Wade.
So going back to high school, did you feel that you were still underrated even though you were a D1 commit?
Yeah, I mean, I always have the utmost confidence in myself. I've done the preparation and the like. So when it comes to rankings and stuff, like I don't really pay attention to them
For sure.
because like I know that I've done the work and I have the confidence in myself that I can beat anybody in South Carolina. So
Yeah. So I was talking to Coach Dion. Coach said that you come in and you make an immediate impact. Um, so going into your freshman year, what are you trying to prove going into Kennesaw?
I'm trying to prove that I'm the hardest worker there. Like
Mhm.
the big thing for me is always just being a hard worker, and I feel like it a lot of times like freshmen will can come in. At least from what I've been told is freshmen will come in and they'll be like trying to be cool with the older guys and stuff. But that I don't. That's not me. Like I want to
Nah,
go
that
in.
ain't you.
I want to show that like I'm a leader on the team and I'm going to be a leader and I'm going to be like a significant part of the team.
What made you transition over to doing content? Like what was it that made you say, yeah, maybe my journey can inspire younger guys, which I'm sure, I mean, you being who you are in the state of South Carolina, I'm sure it was little kids at the games
Mm.
that wanted to take pictures and
Yeah.
was excited to speak to you and stuff like that. But what made you who or what made you realize that your journey should be documented?
Yeah. I mean, like the biggest thing for me is like I'm a big Christian. My faith is really strong to me, right?
Mm,
And I wanted to show that it's possible to be a high level athlete, but also a faithful man, right?
mhm.
So I wanted to show that being like a good Christian athlete is really like true and capable, right? And social media is a great way to display that. And the influence that comes from being a great basketball player can also transfer into influence for God and stuff. So that's really why I do a lot of it. So
Going into when you get to Kennesaw, please take it to another level.
mhm.
Don't stop.
Yes, sir.
There's gonna be distractions and stuff like that, but don't stop. because like I said, as an adult, watching your content, it can be inspiring to an adult
Hmm.
just to see that you can drink like you can have a goal, dream,
For
and
sure.
is able to be achieved. So, like I said, man, just keep that going. So, say a college coach or fan, um, just now hearing your name, what should they remember about Levi Ball after this interview?
After this interview,
Mhm.
um, I would say if they met me in person and they watched me play basketball, the one thing I want them to remember is my work ethic. I want them to remember that like I tried the hardest and I went the hardest in the gym.
Mhm.
Um, and from this interview, I would say that I want them to know like kind of the same thing, right? That I will always like try my hardest in everything. Like even if I don't have like my 100%, I will give 100% of what I have.
Which is true. And like I said, guys, I've watched his kid since he came to South Carolina. All of that is true. So I got four quick hitters where they're blockbuster questions before I get you off of here. The first one, who's the toughest matchup that you had in South Carolina since you've been here?
In South Carolina. I would. It was North Augusta. We played
Gotcha.
them 3 times, 6 times over the last 2 years, and we
Was it
lost them both times
was
in the playoff.
the team this year or the Deron Dunbar team? Which one was more tough?
I would say it was the team last year, the Duran Dunbar,
Hmm.
because over the 3 games, I think he had like 65 points total, and I had like 61 points over the 3 games, right? So
For
it
sure.
was me and him like going at each other. Like we split games in region, and then in
Hmm.
playoffs we lost in overtime. So it was
Hmm.
like that was probably the hardest matchup that I
Deron was one
played.
of those. Deron was one of those guys. You like, man, I was there. Like,
Yeah,
I contested that shot.
yeah.
Um,
He had a crazy like fadeaway because we
yeah,
played like a 2-3 zone, and he was just killing us in the mid range. So.
next question: if you could have any game back, from your career all the way down to middle school, if you could have any game back, what game would that be? Like, if you could redo that game from the tip, what game would
Mhm.
that be, and what would you do different?
I would say it's the playoff games the last 2 years that we lost. I mean, both times again it was North Augusta, but the one time in last year, like the reason we lost the game was because we like some of the guys ran off the bench because the student section tried to fight some of us,
Hmm.
right? And it was just like that would have been really easy if I like they just stayed on the bench, like we would have won the game. And then this year, like if we had been a little more locked in before the game, like I feel like we definitely should have pulled it out.
Hmm. Yeah, like I said, I was at that game. I Yeah, it was a really good game, but y'all should have got that one. Y'all
Yeah.
should have got that one. Next question. Out of the players that you have played with, all the way from your junior season at Gray, your AAU season at Middleton, and your senior season at Gray. If Not sure if you've seen, I did a run with all
Mhm.
top players in the area from the CSRA, which I plan on bringing Columbia kids. I'm gonna do it again before you leave. Hopefully, I can get you in the building.
For sure.
If you could bring a five, who would be your five? Just players you play with.
This players I play with. Mhm. I would say so. My point guard would be Hunter McGraw.
Hmm.
I played with him my junior year, junior summer, and then he went to Dynamic Prep. I would say my shooting guard is my guy Jaden Rowe. We work out all together, all the time together.
That's one of them
Small forward
ones
would be me, and then the power forward would be my guy Jake Thomas from Middleton.
for
Because
sure.
he's a rebounder, he's a dog, he got the mullet and all that stuff. And then
Yeah,
my center would probably be Dez because I mean he's also just a dog. So
for sure, for sure. That's a really good five. It's a really good five. If you could, last question, man, before I get you out of here, if you could have anybody on the podcast, but you gotta help me get them. If you would like to see anybody on the podcast, who would it be?
anybody on
Got somebody in mind? They actually watch it right now. I think
we
he
should
could.
we should
He one of my nephews too, man. He just hard to get in touch with.
hmm. Wait, who are we talking about? Who's on the podcast?
Got Hunter on here. That's who I
Hunter's on
love to
here?
have.
Yeah, we should.
Hunter. All right, so that's your answer, Hunter.
Yeah, and then also you
You
should
go,
get Jake Thomas. because
If you could,
he
like I
entertaining
said,
guy.
man, if you could help me get both of those, that'll work, man. Like I said, man, I appreciate you, my guy. Like I said, I'll be having another run. I need you to come through.
I will.
I need you to come through. Hey man, enjoy the rest of your evening, man. I know you said you had something planned at 6:30, man.
Yes, sir.
Just be safe and get ready for the next level. I'll be watching.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man.